Good afternoon. So, have you ever invaded the territory of your neighbors, your friends, partner, spouse, lover? How about your kids? Ever like go in the room and tell them to do something or clean up this or don't eat that, or looked at your spouse and said, "Oh, you're gonna wear that?" Like, oh my God. Like, ever complained to your neighbor about their yard or their house or what they built here or didn't build there? Me too. I've done most of this stuff, probably all of it. And at the same time, once I became aware of my actions, I did my best to stop. How about voting? You ever vote for politicians or support, politicians or some government policy to do something to your neighbor, maybe force them to do something they don't want to do? Or I'm not talking about intentions or if it's right or wrong. I'm just saying, have we ever collectively or individually or as a group tried to force other people to do things? If so, how can we condemn one invasion while allowing our own invasion? Like basic martial arts or self-defense principles, that there's only two times to use that kind of violence. If somebody's going to harm me or someone I love, that's when I use it. That's it. There's no exemptions. There's no because I felt like it or because I want to, they have a nice car and I want to take it from them, or I see they have a bunch of cash in their pocket and it looks pretty good, or, they have a bunch of oil wells in their backyard, or, whatever it is I don't like about them. I can't just go beat people up. It's basic, like do unto others, Without that, like, what's the point of rules and principles if we're just going to, throw it all out the window whenever we feel like it, or if it benefits us? That's crap. And the hypocrisy is what really is astounding. It's almost like the plot to a movie. If somebody wrote a movie with this plot, no one would see it. It'd be a huge flop because the plot, it'd be so inconsistent and so hard to swallow that everyone would be like, "Are you kidding me? This makes no sense." And what am I talking about? I'm talking about, here in California where I live, schooling is compulsory. You have to, if you don't send your kids to school, you're considered a bad parent, and, child abuse, CPS, whatever. I've heard of like dictators and sheiks and dictatorships and, whatever, where the leader is considered like divine, or it claims the right of the gods or whatever, and then, orders that he can have sex with every girl in the land when she comes of a certain age, and it's like everyone rightly goes, this is crap, you're divine my ass, you're just a predator, you piece of shit. Either invading someone's property, country, whatever is wrong, or it's not. There's no exemptions. Once you put exemptions in there, then we've given away the keys to the store. Then the people in power can do whatever the fuck they want. And they have an incentive to create an emergency to allow the bullshit to happen. Who wouldn't? If you can get away with robbery, rape, murder, or whatever, why not? I mean, zero consequences. Somebody pisses you off, eliminate them. It's not gonna affect me. Or I like what someone has. I like their money, their bank account, their resources. I'll just take it. You can't do anything to me. Fuck you. I'm just gonna take it because I have the power. Might makes right. No, that's not cool. In my opinion, that's the main problem with all the wars, including the one, is that there's never been an accounting of what happened. Like the principles of Gottman, the famous marriage counselor, and my other spiritual teachers, about there's a process of healing where like both sides have to get together and they talk about what happened in an I statement kind of way. I observed this, I observed that. And so like each side gets a turn uninterrupted to get their story out, to be able to tell it. I've heard indigenous traditions where when there was some kind of warring or combat or conflict or something horrible, the people would come back who were in that, and they would talk, and the village would just listen and hear all the shit they went through. And just that process of being welcomed and heard was very healing, and they could put it behind them. So like the first step is you got to hear people. We got to talk about it, say how we felt, what we experienced. And each side gets to listen so they hear the other side. And it's not about right or wrong. It's just about hearing each other. And then as far as repairing, restoring, reparations, the whole point is to make each other whole. So there's like an accounting of what happened, and hearing each other, and then there's connection, like, oh, I get why you did that to me, because you've explained your side of how you felt, why you did it, whether you're angry, and then there's some reassurance around how it's not going to happen again. If one person feels victimized or traumatized, they need some reassurance that safety is restored. And so that the next time when a regrettable incident happens, it doesn't lead to the same devastating consequences, that they're not going to be traumatized or victimized again. You know, that's the whole point. And then from there we can move on because we feel safe. We're like, oh, I understand. I've heard, you know, reassurance that makes sense to me about how we're going to do it differently next time so that it doesn't lead to the same drastic or outrageous, you know, situation, violence, whatever it is. And then from there, it's like, okay, we give each other another chance. And then we see. And then by doing that, if we give the other person another chance, in other words, we don't forget what happened, but we forgive to let go of the poison attitude, the poison internal conflict of the, you know, that resentment that poisons us from the inside. So we're able to let that go. At the same time, we don't forget. We go, okay, I'm going to give you another chance. So we go into a similar scenario. Something happens. There's a disagreement, and then, okay, did you stick to your word about how you're going to do it differently? And if they did, then that feeds the emotional bank account. That gives the reassurance that it is safe to be with this person, and the relationship can continue. Otherwise, there's no future. You know, if we don't go through that process, then that's why there's this whole backlog, especially in the U.S. where I'm from. You know, thousands or no, how long, whatever it's been, hundreds of years of warfare, and never been an accounting. You know, that the Native American butchery, you know, genocide, the slavery, all the different wars, whether it's, you know, the Mexican wars, the, you know, all the world wars, the Vietnamese, the stuff in Latin America, like there's never been an accounting of a restoring, making whole, and a stopping of the process. That's the big part. If the same bullshit is still going on from one crisis, one war to the next, there's no safety. No one believes that the process is going to stop, or that there's, you know, when it's not just some bullshit for more theft and more transfer of power and wealth. Like, we all know it's bullshit because you never changed your ways. You haven't accounted. You haven't repaired the relationship. You know, for me, the only way to make sense of like going from one narrative to the other, even when it seems like ridiculously or just obviously absurdly hypocrisy, you know, just hypocritical as it gets, is that it's not about that. It's about the mass formation. There's an anxiety, whether it's free-floating and conscious, you know, like look up Matthias Desmont's description of it, but it's not about the thing. In other words, if the crisis goes away, if the object of, you know, the threat and the solution, if that disappears, then people have to feel their anxiety. They have to sit with the discomfort. And so a distraction, whatever it is, no matter how absurd it is, it's much better to have an external distraction, to blame, to put the blame on, and to have a solution, something to bring us together, than to have to sit in the discomfort of the anxiety. That's why I made that video on sitting with fear, you know, overcoming fear. I have another one on my other channel about overcoming anxiety. It's worth the effort for me. Like, it was hard to do, really fucking hard, really hard to feel that really uncomfortable stuff. But the benefit is bliss. Like being able to just walk down the street or in the woods and have just this magical bliss just wash over me. I actually had that experience once. I went to a restaurant with a friend, and then as I'm leaving, this is in San Francisco, I'm walking through Chinatown to get the bus to go home, and all of a sudden, boom, it was like I stepped through some magic porthole, and all of a sudden the colors, the sensations, the smells, the sounds, everything was fucking magical. And it lasted all night until I went to sleep. And it was just the most, you know, at first I thought, hey, maybe somebody drugged me. Maybe they put ecstasy in my drink or something, you know. But no, I felt, you know, I know what that feels like, that drug feeling. It didn't feel like that. It was this it's this magical, blissful, unreal, you know, and real at the same time. But just like, to me, that's what enlightenment feels like. And I've had it where I'm just walking in the woods, you know, on a hike, and all of a sudden I'll just drop into a meditative state, and everything I see is magical. It's blissful. I just want to sit down and just soak it all in because it feels so good. I'm so present. And so that's the point. If we go through process and get comfortable with all the human experience, that's what every day is. It's bliss. You know, I've had one of my teachers call it blissipin. I can't even fucking say it. Blissipin. Or blissiples, you know, like principle and bliss, or discipline and bliss combined. But it's true, you know. So let's do that inner work. Let's help each other. Let's get back to the bliss, the good feeling, so we don't have to go from one crisis to another, one distraction to another, one endless war to another. I mean, it's like, come on, we've been doing that for too long. It's not helping anybody. Let's get back to joy and bliss, and helping, instead of helping each other flee from the next war zone. Let's help each other build communities that are nurturing and good for us and bring us together. So thanks. Hope this helps. The big tech platforms are censoring. I had a video removed, and so some parts of this video I'll have to delete or remove to put it on YouTube, Facebook, and whatnot. So if you want to see the full uncensored video, go look in the link description and check out whether it's Rumble or Odyssey or wherever it ends up. But I'm going to keep posting to places that welcome discussion and freedom, and post a pre-censored version so that it can stay up on YouTube and Facebook and all the other big tech platforms that want to squash people's opinions. If you can share it, like it, spread it around, however you can, get it out there. I appreciate it, and any support you can send, whether donation or coming to the website and a membership or whatever, subscription options are on the platform that you're watching this on. That'd be awesome. So thank you so much, and I hope this helps.